Hey, what's up? It's Kareem Black, your friendly neighborhood professional photographer. And on today's course, or I kind of just want to call it like a critique, like when you're in college. On today's critique, or on today's instruction, is just kind of how I go about. It's something that I've touched on before, and it's about visual storytelling. And when I touched on it before, it was in the context of an Instagram post, like a multi-image Instagram post. So I'm going to be doing the same thing today, but it's going to be a little bit shorter. Like the images have already been sort of worked on, and I'm just trying to figure out how to visually tell a cogent story. Let me show you what I'm working with. So, if you remember, maybe a couple episodes ago, I was working on this Instagram story of my friend Roxiny. She's sort of amazing rock star. I shot her music video, or shot the stills of the music video. I didn't direct it. And this is kind of what we came up with. We separated all of our... Sorry, my cat is going crazy. We separated the images into the dimensions of an Instagram portrait, which is where you see the blue guides, and cut up our visual story accordingly. So what we're going to do is we are going to erase we're going to throw out all of the work that we did on that one, because we've already done it. It's all saved, don't worry. Don't ever delete anything. Never delete any photos, by the way. Like, you know what? When you're out sometimes and your friends will be like, oh, delete that one. You know, fuck that. Like, never delete anything. I think that as an artist and as a photographer, I abhor that. These are records of things that actually happened. And, I don't know. Time and life is not disposable in that way. So... all that is saying that what I just deleted, I have saved somewhere else. And now we're just starting with a blank canvas. I want to show you the images that we will be working with today. It's Roxiny again. I've just been documenting this woman, this rock star, and I find her infinitely fascinating. I think that she's an amazing artist, amazing music, and sometimes I'll just go to a show of hers and photograph. She gives me backstage access, and that's sort of what this stuff is. It's just her kind of getting ready. It's like this kind of divey Lower East Side bar. You know, like the backstage is sort of the bathroom and the washroom. So that's where she's getting ready. So we're dealing with these sorts of images. I do not consider myself a concert photographer, but I love the energy of concert photography. I respect those guys and girls a lot. But to me, this is more, I would consider it more reportage. Maybe there is a genuine and generous amount of crossover between the two. But yeah, this is kind of the stuff that, let's see if I can arrange this a little bit better for you guys. Let's see. That's not better. But I think that you guys can kind of get a vibe of what we will be working with. So the first question is, what can we get rid of? We have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to say like 12 images. Our first step is to see if we have any doubles of images. Like we don't want to belabor our story. We don't want to. I mean, I'm a talker. I like to talk, but visually, I think that we want to be as concise as possible. So I'm starting to see some images that are telling me a similar story. Actually, you know what? Here's a good place to start. So this image of this woman, while I really think it's an amazing image, it's not an image of Roxiny, and I feel like all the rest of our images will be sort of Roxini based, and I think if there's one image of, someone else, I think it will be confusing. So maybe this image belongs in a different story. Let's say no for now to that first image. So we're doing okay. We're already we're consolidating. We are making our story, we're giving it some brevity. Okay. Now these three images are visually telling sort of a similar story to me. I mean, not just in color and in tone, but in composition and in, I mean, this reminds me of, this is before she is going on stage, she's gathering herself. I don't think that I need three of these. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, which image out of these three would you pick? I am I'm gravitating towards this one here. I think it's not as literal as the other two, and I think that that is a good thing. Let's make a decision. You know what? We'll be a little bit cowardly. We're not making a bold decision. Let's get rid of this one here. I think it's my least favorite. Out of these two, let's keep them in contention. Let's keep them in contention. I really like this image. I think it's very powerful. You know me, I love black and white. If you want to talk about being concise, if you want to talk about getting straight to the point, that's what black and white really does do for me. I think that there's something classic about black and white too. And so I think that this actually might be our first image. I think it's a great introduction to our protagonist. Let me see if I can put a little, you know me, I'm a greedy bastard. So I know I told you guys that I already worked on these images, and I have, but I just want to see if I can put just a little zhuzh. Just a little zhuzh. I'm going to take my curves. I'm going to try and just... Let's see. I'm just going to try and make these lights a little bit... I like the glare. Do I like that? Let's see. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but let's see if we can... let's try and hit it again. With another big old selection. We're gonna go our selection. Let's do maybe let's see, 577 pictures. This is a huge selection. You can see it's breaking my desktop. And instead of curves, let's see what would happen if we do a little selective color. We work in our blacks, and we just kind of take some of the whites out of the blacks. I am not mad at this. We're going to make our selection. We're going to grab the entire thing. We're going to grab the entire selection and just transform it just a little bit. Let's do that. I like this sort of ghostly bit of image here on the upper right here. I mean, it's obviously the ceiling, but something about it. I think it provides... There we go. I think it provides some sort of environment, and I think that it starts to accentuate the glare from these lights. I think it makes this photo look bigger while at the same time providing a sense of place. Let's do that. I sort of want to call that our intro piece. So, okay, here's a bold decision. Well, hold on. Here's the decision we need to make before the bold decision. We're going to save this. right? Because our bold decision is going to be to flatten it and then to throw it into our layout. I really like that. All right. So we have our introduction to our protagonist. And I think this might change. This may change. Still saving. My God. The new Photoshop 2023, takes up so much memory. I mean, it's almost impossible to live stream on it with a Mac. And when you're saving larger images, it just becomes super, super sluggish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image, I'm going to flatten it. Boom. And I'm going to throw it into our layout. There we are. Now, we don't need this image anymore. We do not need to save it as a flattened version. We don't need it anymore because it's in our layout. We are going to make this huge motherfucker. Oh, God, hold on, wait a second. We're going to make this huge image into something more manageable. But first, we're going to undo that free transform. We're going to do it one more time. You know, in older versions of Photoshop, and I've said this before because it's hard to get used to, in older versions of Photoshop, you would hold the Shift key in order to keep the dimensions of the image. But in this version, you don't have to do anything and it keeps the dimensions. And if you do the Shift key, it contorts the dimensions. So it is literally the opposite of what I am used to. And it can very easily fuck you up, like it just did me, and like I was just about to, because it's muscle memory. You know what I mean? I've been working on the other versions of Photoshop for years, and my muscles know how to do this thing. So, okay, we're not going to arrange anything yet. I can tell that this image, there's information on the left side of this image that we will not need. So I can tell that I'm kind of going to sort of, it's going to be kind of like that. I think that I have this image and I have this image which really do tell a similar story to me. This is after her show, but it seems like, but I think a thing that we need to remember is the viewers aren't going to be there all the time for us to explain to them, you know, oh, this was the end of the show or whatever. I think that this image reads as the end of the show. Why? Because she's clearly sort of walking down a hallway away from people, and the image on the right, there are people clapping. She is happy. I like some of the movement on the left of this image right here. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Hey guys, what do you think? You know what? I really think that this, that the movement in the image on the right is selling me, even though I like the expression, her expression in this image on the left. It's a little bit, I mean, it's two different stories that her face is telling, right? It's sort of, yeah, I did it. Like, this is a stronger gesture to me than, this is sort of, I mean, it's definitely a happier, lighter gesture. I think it's a happier picture. I am going to steal something from this image here. I don't know if you guys saw in some of the previous lessons where I was going into Midjourney and making sunsets and then blurring them and then blending them with my images. So what I just did is I took this sunset layer that I blurred from Midjourney and put it onto this image of her walking away. Let's see here. Ooh, no, I kind of like it under... It's always important to kind of like fool around with what you're doing. This is at 33% opacity. If it's at 100, then you can start to see sort of what difference it is making. I'm going back to 37, let's say. I think that this is our image. So, with that said, we are going to clear out one more image. We're making progress. We already have our glare here. I'm going to be a greedy bastard and see if I can accentuate it a little bit. I love my glare. I'm sorry. You know, on your images, you can do what you do. And that's what makes you and me different. You know, and we're artists, man. We don't all have to be the same. And I think that at a certain point, I mean, some of this, you know, we are working in Photoshop. We are, you know, working with sort of AI. But at some point, at the point when it becomes art, we are sort of, you know, making these individual human decisions. That's what makes us all different. So I'm going to save the work on this one. I'm going to go through this long-ass saving process again. I really, really love this image here while this other one's saving. This actually might be the... You know what? This actually might be the opening image, man. Like, that's rock star shit. It reminds me of, like, old analog, like all the images I used to see from CBGBs. That's a little bit before my time, but it used to be covered in wheat paste posters for the bands that are going to be performing on the exterior of the building, and they always look like this, you know. This is some rock star shit. First of all, hold on. Let me flatten this. I have no notes. I have no notes on this image. No notes. And we're going to just throw this into our layout. There we go. And we are going to close this image. What did I do to it? Oh, I flattened it. So I don't want to save the flattened form. I want to keep the layers. So I'm not going to save that progress done there. I have our image of her walking off. We just saved it, so we're going to flatten it. I'm going to throw it in. Wow, that is a big mamma jamma. So I'm going to close this. I am not going to save because remember, I just flattened it. I want to keep all that information. Okay. So what does this look like? This looks like a big mess to me because we need to resize our image so we can see sort of what's going on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. As like, you see how it's not the entire image. It is cropped into the layout. So basically the bottom of the image and the top is kind of cropped off. I sort of like that, but I do not think that it's going to work in our Instagram layout because in this frame here and in these frames, there's just no information, right? I want to make it smaller for now, and then we might crop a little bit of this or that in the future. Again, we are trying to get rid of the pieces of the image that just aren't telling us a lot of the story, right? So I think that image is going to be about that size. I think if we go to our CBGBs, inspired image. Wow, this is going to be great. This is going to be amazing. I think that our CBGB's image, it might go first. It might go first. And then our image that was under it, oops. our image that was under it, I think, could be our introduction. Let's see. Maybe. I think that if we're... Oops. Oh, God. Got me again. With the shift key in it. Okay. I think that this could be our opener. Now, okay, so, full disclosure, I am not a graphic designer, nor am I a retoucher. I'm just a guy who takes pictures and has been doing it professionally for 23 years. So, these are my preferences based on the story that I am trying to tell with my images on Instagram through an Instagram language. I think we're doing okay here. I kind of like this image, but I feel like it tells a similar story to this image, right? Actually, no. I think that between this image on the right and this image, this image on the left and this image on the right, I think they're different enough. And the image on the right has more tension. I'm not sure exactly why. Like the image on the left is like getting ready, and the image on the right is like, oh shit, like I have to get ready now. You know what I mean? Like it's almost showtime kind of thing. I think that her pose, actually I don't want to call it pose, her body language, just the motion of it, I think it's a bit more frantic. I think that we can keep both. Let's see. Gonna flatten this guy. Yep. I'm gonna flatten this guy. I have a feeling that at the end of the day, we're going to end up getting rid of one of them, but let's see. Let's see. I think that the interesting thing about retouching, the interesting thing about doing a layout, the interesting thing about photography is that my philosophy is that the pictures will tell you what they want you to do with them. I know how weird that sounds. But what I mean is, once we start throwing all these pictures into the layout, they will start to speak to us. They will say, they will make sense visually. And that will aid us in telling our story. So we already have this guy, right? Right? Yes, we do. Okay. So let's get out of this. Boom, bang. We're not going to save because we just flattened it. And we want to save again. We want to save all that. We want the image, the version of the image that we have on our hard drive to have our layers, so we can go back and figure out what the hell we're doing. Again, we're going to get out of this. We're not going to save the flattened version. Let me get my lemonade. And again, right now we are waiting for a message from the image to tell us, from the images to tell us what to do on a certain level. I think, for some reason, I'm thinking, let's see, do we have that? We have not made our decision between this image and this image. I think that my initial instinct was right. We're going to close this image out. We're going to go with this image. We're going to flatten it. I think that this might be, well, let's see. We'll see. I was about to say this might be the end of the story, but I don't know. We want the images. You know how, I'm a nerd. In Top Gun, Maverick, he's always like, talk to me, Goose. And I feel like I want these images to talk to me. Like, you know, tell me. You're gonna tell me what images you want to be next to. You really are, and it's gonna start to form this visual story that we're trying to tell. I've got a huge image right here that we need to cut down to size. There we are. There we are. Now, how do the images... You're going to say, hey, Kareem, how the images going to tell you where they want to be and what they want to do? You sound like a crazy person. Well, we can see the start of it here. I love the fact that we have orange in this image here, and then we've got orange in this image here. I feel like these images are going to end up being next to each other. Somehow, some way. I've got this image that needs to be... You know what helps me sometimes? Is in my layer order, I will order the layers so that they appear from top to bottom as they appear from right to left. It just kind of helps me. I mean, I'm not naming the layers at this point, which I probably should be. But it just helps me kind of identify what layer is what. All right. And as we start to move the images around, we're going to start to have to reorder them. I think, you know, quiet moment. Does that work? Can that work? Or we take this. Here, let's put this on. Let's put this up here. We take this and we have our oranges. We got our oranges now working together. Now we are starting. Now we are starting to tell a story. That's that. What's this guy here? Where's our kinetic image? Here we are. Now, this image with her looking in the mirror, we've got an image that's probably going to come right before it of her looking in the mirror. So I think that we can, on some level, we can crop this. We can crop her out. Big decision time. Big decision time. By the way, I do not pick... I just kind of put on a playlist of piano music that is on... what's it called? It's free of copyright. So, yeah. That's basically what's going on with the music right now. Although I love the song. I think that... Let's see what happens when we transform this one layer. Let's see. Arrange. Layer style. Can I... You know what? If it's free transform, it just does this one layer, right? Let's see. Flip horizontal. Okay, there we are. Let's see what happens when we change this image order so it is on top of this. Does this work for us? I don't think it does. I really don't think it does. I'm going to leave this as is. We're going to come back to that. And I got a layer hiding under here. Here, come here. Come here. All right. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. I think that... We're going to make this just a little bit smaller so it fits within confines of what we're doing. I don't think we need all of her reflection. I think that it reads with just some of it. Remember, we are working with space as a premium. I'm going to make a bold decision. I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to cut the right side of this image here. There we are. There we are. I'm going to go for a quiet image here. Huh. Maybe. Again, I don't think that... Oh, let's see. We're talking about the images telling us what to do. Now, I think we may be on to something. I think we may be on to something if we switch the order of these two. Literally, this is what... Oh, this is what I enjoy doing. Oops. What the hell just happened there? Did I just cut that? No. Okay. We're just going to go back to that because I think I just... Oh, there we go. Oh, hold on. Got it. Okay, but where is that? Okay, it's layer 1. Okay. Sorry, I had a little baby meltdown there. I thought that I completely lost track of a layer. Okay. So we're going to make our colors talk to each other here. Oops. Got to keep our guides right so we know exactly what the size of the Instagram portrait layout is. I actually think that I'm missing one of the guides somehow. What the hell? I think it used to be there-ish. Hang on. There is a much better way to do that than by eye. But, yeah, I like living dangerously. And we do have the other image. We have the other guidelines that came after that guideline that sort of was fucking with us. That sort of disappeared. So even if one is not right, it will return to its regularly scheduled program by the end of the composition. Now these colors, they look great together, but I think that it might be too much. I think it becomes muddy. Do I have something else? Oh, I have that. Look at that. I like this, but I don't love it. So let's get rid of that one. We also have this. Okay, cool. Now, I think that these two are not exactly the same, but they sort of exist in the same world, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that we're also dealing with this color palette here. Oh, okay, cool. I know what I'm going to do. Welcome to the behind the scenes of just how, this is genuinely how I do this stuff. And, you know, a lot of it is really trial and error. And sometimes the images don't talk to you as succinctly as sometimes you hope they might. But I think that the images are talking to us now. I think they're talking to us now. Look at that. I like that. I like that. And then maybe we'll have that sort of as a float alone thing. And then we'll go to, oh wait, my bad. Okay, good. And then we'll go to this image and see how it looks. Yeah, I don't need it to go. Maybe we're going with our lip gloss image, not lip gloss image. Maybe it's lip gloss, maybe it's lipstick. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I like that, and I'll tell you why. Purely because of the way that it falls in, that it will fall in the Instagram layout. So, we have discussed this on other images, but that looks weird. Anyway, we have discussed this on other images, but we, in telling this visual story, and on Instagram, we have, as separated by our guidelines, we have image 1. We have image 2. This is, you have to imagine, people are swiping on this. We have image 3. Or I should say image 3 on as far as the swipe goes. Image 3 will fall on image 2. I think that you guys know what I'm talking about. But my point is, it's important for there to be something happening that's interesting in during all of the swipes. So, for instance, in this portion of the layout, like in layout part 2, there isn't anything discernible that's happening here. But I think the fact that this image cuts and we're going into something that's framed might be an interesting piece of design language. We're going to see. I actually may end up moving this one over. But I do like how the design language between layout 2 and layout 3 going into layout 4 works. And then layout 4, which is her reflection, going into layout 5, which is the revelation of what's actually going on. I'm going to say we're going to keep that going on as is. I like our action image here. It might go right here. I always love the transition from color to black and white. I'm going to move this just a little bit over. And again, I think that I'm going to be okay cutting out this bold decision time. I think I'm going to be okay cutting out her reflection here. In fact, we're just working with her reflection. We're not working with her actual figure. I say that we cut this. Bang. I like where that's going. We've got this quiet moment, and I think visually, after this sort of moment with this motion, this quiet moment, I think may work for us. How many? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that Instagram only gives us 10. And I think that we're going to end up going to 10. Let me... canvas size... 32. Let's go to... just for shits and giggles, let's go to 40. Cool. We're not going to be using all of this, but I think that we're going to need one more. We're going to need a 10th frame. And just to not confuse anybody, just to make those white as our background image. Now this is the image that we have not used yet. I think this is the only image we haven't used yet. I do think that I think there might be an image that is underneath all the rest of those images in the layout, but we'll find out soon enough. I don't mind this image. I think that this can be something that goes at the end of our layout. Let's put it on top so we can see it. Let's not save that. Do we have any more images? Okay, cool. All of our images are now in our layout. I'm going to bust this guy down to size. Guy meaning the image, not guy meaning our subject. She is very much a woman and deserves that respect. So just wanted to clarify that. This is going to be a 1. I think this is going to be cropped, so it is a 1 square as far as layout image. Now we're missing an image. We're definitely missing one. Let's see. Yeah, I see ya. Trying to hide from me, huh? What image we missing? Come on, show yourself. Oh, I see. Okay. We're dealing with these 2 images right here. And remember what we were saying before? Like, they have very similar vibes, these 2 right here. This is rough. This is rough. You know how I feel about my black and white. But I feel like this image on the right is her sort of touching the face of God or something. I mean, it's so like, you know, a transcendent and celebratory. I'm gonna piss somebody off with what, because both can't survive. One of these images must die, and one of these images must die. What do you guys think? Yeah, one needs to die. Or, I just had an idea. There's an image here that I really do love for its... Oh my God, there's 2 images that we're missing. Okay, so now we need to get to the edit. We need to get to the edit. Okay, we've got her looking in the mirror once. That's fine. That's enough. We're taking out the black and white image that I really loved for its sort of dynamism, but we already have her looking in the mirror, and we need to edit now. So we're going to go for this image, which I really do love. I think that we are going to... Let's try this at the end. Just for now. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. I want to see how this works. How these 2 quiet moments work next to each other. Oh, God. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Everybody calm down. Maybe we make this moment a little smaller, you know? Oof. Everybody calm down. I keep on doing the shift thing, and it's like, and it's messing up the proportions. Okay. Let's say that we try that. Let's say that we try that. I have a feeling that the right edge of this image is going to get sheared off. You know what? Now that I see it, the right edge of this image is going to get sheared off. Bold decision. Bold decision. Where do we stop? Where do we, you know, sometimes you have to sort of eyeball it. I think I can get away with it. Here's the bold decision. We're going to cut. I'm going to deeply regret this. And remember what I told you guys? You should always make sort of a duplicate of the image in case you're doing something that might be destructive. Well, that is a case where I probably should have made a duplicate, but I think that we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. I don't mind that. Okay, so now I like this quiet moment after our sort of... we have 3 quiet moments in a row here, which is actually sort of interesting. Let's see what happens if we put... Oops, not that. Let's see what happens if we put this sort of loud moment next to it. Now, in the chronology of her show, and I think I only know this, you don't know this, this is her getting off of stage. Oops. Come on. Come on, why don't you behave yourself? Here we go. This image here is her getting off of stage here. Do I want to keep it at the end? I think I do. I really think I do. And I'll tell you why. Because visually, again, we're letting these images talk to us. But look at the color palette. Look at the color palette with our first image here. Let's come back to that, right? So let's have this image here. Ooh, I like this song. Let's have this image be last. Because we're coming back to our reds and blues, and it is her getting off the stage, right? Now, let's listen to what our images have to say. This blue image here, does it look better after this, or does our black and white image look better after this? Let's see, let's see. Now, what is this? Oh, that's the image that we're not using. Here's our black and white image here. You see me trying to find it, like where I'm like turning images on and off? Oh, I think I'm going to piss somebody off. I think I'm going to piss somebody off. Hold on. This is becoming a story about... I think that I might not have any black and white in this story. I think it's a story about... And which is fine. Which is fine. I love black and white. But I don't think that... Yeah, maybe this is an all-color story. What do you guys think? Yeah, you know what? I think it has to be color. I think it's the color version. I think it has to be. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Hold on, let's see. I do think that I'm going to cut a little bit of the negative space out of this image. And I think that I'm going to try to just eyeball it. Make sort of the frame on this quiet image here sort of be similar on the right and left sides. Just by eyeball. It's fine. It's Instagram. Nobody's gonna be looking at it like that. I also like sort of this diagonal framing that is a light, and it comes into this diagonal right here. I think that that's kind of cool. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to shave a little bit from the right side of this image. I do love the composition, but in the visual language of Instagram, and this the other thing, look at this. Her body is right on the border upon which one would be swiping. So how do we solve that? How do we solve that? How big is this image? If I make it smaller, will she... Alright. I am going to cheat this just a little. And for those eagle-eyed watchers, yeah, I just did fuck up the proportions, but let me turn on. We went through this entire playlist. We did fuck up the proportions just a little bit, but I think that Roxiny will like me for it. I really think so, and I'll tell you why. Because it's just a little, you know, a little slimming. Nobody... of all the people I've ever met and photographed, there's no one that I've met that is immune to flattery. So we just, just kind of flattered her a little bit there. And with that said, I think that we're doing okay here as far as, let me move this over just a little bit. And I think that I'm going to cut the edge off of this. There we are. I think that within the parameters of the Instagram layout and within the parameters of photo, I really just didn't need all that extra space. And now we're on our very last image here. How do we do this? Let's see. Let's see how many frames we have. We're going on the assumption that Instagram will only allow us 10 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So what I can kind of do is this, right? Can I... Ooh, fuck. This thing is beating my ass. Okay, here we go. Can we do something like that? I told you that we're going to be cropping some of this stuff. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. So this will be the last frame. I like that. I wish there were a way to... Yeah, I'm going to show you guys afterwards. We just need to get something a little bit more perfect here, and then we will be on the road to actually making this art. I'm going to move this up to the very top. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to make a frame around it. I'm going to do it kind of the hard way. Let's see. We're going to add a layer that's right under this soft sort of thoughtful moment. We are going to bring our big old paint bucket there. And everything should just disappear except for the image that we want to make a frame of. Now we're just, oops, see, oops, I did it. Okay, you can call me Britney Spears, it's fine. There we are. I just have a little frame. I just have a little frame around it. Right? Now we're going to make this, we're going to see if we can't. We're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. We're going to just nudge this image over just a bit so that the frame on, and we're eyeballing this, I know, but the frame on the right and on the left is kind of even. Frame on the top and bottom is kind of even. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. What I do sort of mind is that there's a 3-frame ending here where there's no... I mean, I think I'm giving this end image just a little too much love. Let's see. Can I do a frame on it? Can I do something like that? And then have it be... I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Let's make this framing consistent with the framing that we have for this one here. So we'd go to our guides and kind of just try and figure out where the edge of this one is. Make that guide there. And then we're going to go down to the bottom and make our guide here. And those are going to be the guides that we live by for this image. So there we are. And there we are. going to try and nudge this just a bit so that the guides are the guides on the framing on the top is sort of makes sense with the framing on at least in this case the left side and on the bottom. Now I think that we're getting somewhere. I don't mind this, but I'm not. There's something about it. Let's see. Let's crop this entire thing because we're not going to need all that extra space. We're going to crop this so we can get a better look at what we're doing. What questions are we asking ourselves? We're asking ourselves if all of the frames tell a story visually, right? In other words, when somebody swipes through on Instagram, are there any dead frames? Like, arguably this. Even though design-wise I like this and it goes into a framed image, I think that there's sort of a tension there. Similarly, there is a tension here in this frame, which I don't mind. I do like when we're dealing with the end of our story, I don't mind this. I don't mind the fact that the end is just a white frame. It's like fini, this is the end. I think that we're okay with this. By the time that you see it on my Instagram, I may have gotten greedy. You know me, I'm greedy. I may have gotten greedy and changed a couple things, maybe perfected a couple things, but I think that we are well on our way to an Instagram story. And obviously from here, once we're done, we just kind of cut them up and then reassemble them in Instagram. What am I trying to do here? One of the things about one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies, the original Batman, no bloody Heath Ledger or anybody like that, or like George Clooney. I'm talking about Michael Keaton, the original OG Batman, with Jack Nicholson as the Joker. And I want to leave the comments. I don't want to start a fight, but leave in the comments who's the better Joker, Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger. I think a lot of people will say Heath Ledger. He's more modern. He's more sort of, it's a realer sort of Gotham, but you can't beat Jack. You can't beat Jack. Jack is a Joker that I grew up with. And it's also, the other thing is, Heath Ledger's Joker doesn't tell any jokes. How are you going to be a Joker and not tell any jokes? Like, he told like one joke in the whole movie. You know what I mean? He was just a vicious psychopath, which I think is another take on. And, it's almost like I don't think that they're the same. Like, can you compare them? It's a completely different character almost. Tim Burton's Batman is a different, whatever. I could go on and on. I like Michael Keaton. But the point of my story is Jack Nicholson's Joker in that movie said, we should never compare ourselves to regular people. We're artists, right? And I think that all of this sort of toil and back and forth and me wrestling with, and you guys wrestling with your images, this is normal. Like, by the time that this is going to be on Instagram, I might have just wrestled with it a little bit more. And that is the burden. That is the burden of our toil that all of us sort of live through. None of our images are ever done. But I do think that in this particular situation, I do think that we let the images speak to us as far as where they wanted to be placed in the layout. I think that we did tell a visual story as far as color, and I do think that we're onto something. Let me know what you think. Hey guys, hello. It's your friendly neighborhood professional photographer here, Kareem Black. I hope you guys enjoyed that. it ran a little bit longer than I thought that it would, but I just think that there were so many decisions to be made, and I kind of went into it cold. I did not know exactly the order or even the images I was going to be stitching together for this Instagram layout. Let me know if you agree with all the decisions we made. Ultimately, everything is subjective. We're artists, right? And our differences in opinion and aesthetic, that's what makes us interesting and unique. So let me know how you guys would have handled that. If there are any images that I left out, or if you would have. I like to communicate a lot, so if there are images that you would have edited out, let me know. Like I like to sort of like have all my images in there. It kind of broke my heart when I had to delete some of the images, but let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, please. I'm trying to build a little community here around Photoshop, around artists talking about art. And I will see you on the next one.